The cold November evening wrapped around the Royal Albert
Oh.
like a velvet cloak as limousines began arriving one after another. Camera flashes exploded in rapid succession, creating a constellation of light that reflected off the grand building's distinctive architecture. Crowds had gathered hours earlier, some camping overnight along the barriers just to catch a glimpse of royalty. Their excited chatter filled the air with anticipation that seemed almost electric. Inside the venue, staff members moved with practiced precision. Every detail had been checked and rechecked multiple times. The Royal Variety performance was one of the most prestigious entertainment events in Britain, and tonight's show promised to be particularly special. Performers nervously rehearsed their final moments backstage, while organizers consulted their schedules for the 100th time. Everyone knew that when royalty attended, everything had to be absolutely perfect. Kate Middleton sat in the back of the royal car, her hands folded gracefully in her lap. She gazed out the window at the London streets passing by, her expression calm despite the magnitude of the evening ahead. Years of royal duties had taught her to manage the pressure that came with public appearances. Yet she still felt that familiar flutter of anticipation before major events. Beside her, Prince William reviewed some final notes about the evening's performers and the charitable cause they were supporting, the Royal Variety. Performance had a history stretching back over a century. First held in 1912, it existed to raise money for the Royal Variety Charity, which supported people from the entertainment world who needed assistance. British monarchs and senior royals had been attending these shows for generations, making it a cherished tradition that connected the royal family with performers and the public alike. For Kate and William, its attendance represented not just duty, but genuine interest in supporting the arts. As their vehicle approached the Royal Albert Hall, both Kate and William could see the enormous crowd gathered outside. People pressed against the barriers, their phones held high, ready to capture every moment. Young children sat on their parents' shoulders, waving small British flags enthusiastically. The excitement was palpable. A living thing that seemed to pulse through the crowd like a heartbeat. Kate had chosen her outfit with meticulous care, understanding that every appearance would be analyzed and discussed for days afterward. She wore an elegant floor-length gown that managed to be both sophisticated and approachable. The color complemented her complexion beautifully, and the design was modern, yet respectful of the formal occasion. Her jewelry was tasteful rather than ostentatious, striking that perfect balance the public had come to expect from her. Her hair was styled in soft waves that framed her face, and her makeup enhanced her natural beauty without overwhelming it. William looked equally polished in his formal attire. His evening suit was impeccably tailored, fitting him perfectly. He wore it with the ease of someone who had spent his entire life in formal wear, yet never seemed stiff or uncomfortable. There was something reassuring about his presence, steadiness that came from years of representing the royal family at countless events. Together, they made a striking pair, embodying both tradition and a modern approach to royalty. The car slowed as it reached the designated entrance. Security personnel spoke into their radios, coordinating the arrival with military precision. Inside the vehicle, Kate took a deep breath and smiled at William. He reached over and squeezed her hand briefly, a small gesture of support and partnership. They had done this countless times before, but each public appearance carried its own unique energy and importance. The door opened, and the sound of the crowd surged forward like a wave. Cheers erupted as Kate stepped out first, her movement graceful and confident. She paused for just a moment, allowing photographers to capture her arrival before William emerged behind her. The couple stood together at the entrance, smiling warmly at the gathered crowd. Kate waved with that distinctive royal wave, a gesture that somehow managed to be both formal and genuinely friendly. Reporters shouted questions from the press pen, their voices competing with each other in the crowd's enthusiasm. Kate and William maintained their composure, acknowledging the press with nods while not stopping to answer the barrage of questions. They understood the protocol perfectly, knowing when to engage and when to continue forward. Their experience showed in every measured step they took as they began walking the red carpet toward the entrance. Kate's dress caught the light beautifully. Every camera angle seemed to find something new to capture. Fashion commentators would later spend hours analyzing every detail of her appearance. from the dress designer to the specific shade of her nail polish. This level of scrutiny had become normal for Kate, and she had learned to dress in a way that honored both royal tradition and contemporary style. Members of the Royal Variety Charities Board waited inside the entrance, ready to greet the royal couple formally. These introductions were part of the evening's ritual, a chance for the charity's leadership to personally welcome their royal patrons. Kate and William shook hands with each person, exchanging brief pleasantries and showing genuine interest in the charity's recent work. They asked thoughtful questions about fundraising goals and the people who had been helped, demonstrating that their attendance was about more than just appearances. The interior of the Royal Albert Hall sparkled with preparation. The famous circular venue had been decorated specifically for the royal variety performance, with every seat filled by guests who had paid premium prices to attend. The money raised would go directly to helping entertainers in need, supporting those who had dedicated their lives to bringing joy to others, but now faced difficulties themselves. Kate and William were escorted to the royal box, the most prominent seating area in the entire hall. From this vantage point, they would have a perfect view of the stage, while also being visible to much of the audience. As they entered the box, the entire hall erupted in applause. People stood, craning their necks to get a better look at the royal couple. Kate and William acknowledged the ovation with smiles and waves before taking their seats. The atmosphere inside the hall buzzed with excitement that went beyond the usual pre-show anticipation. Having William and Kate present elevated the entire event, adding a layer of historical significance and glamour. Audience members whispered to each other, pointing out the royal couple and feeling fortunate to be present for such a special evening. The performers backstage felt the added pressure and thrill of knowing they would be performing for royalty. The lights in the Royal Albert Hall began to dim gradually, and a hush fell over the audience like a blanket. Kate leaned slightly forward in her seat, her attention focused on the stage below. William sat beside her with the posture of someone completely at ease, yet fully engaged. They had attended many performances together over the years, but the Royal Variety Show always offered something special with its unique mix of established stars and emerging talent. The Master of Ceremonies walked onto the stage, his presence commanding immediate attention. His voice carried perfectly throughout the historic venue as he welcomed everyone to the evening's performance. He made special mention of the Prince and Princess of Wales, prompting another round of enthusiastic applause. Kate and William acknowledged the recognition with gracious nods, careful not to draw too much attention away from the show itself. The first performer took the stage with visible nervous energy. Knowing that royalty sat in the audience added extra weight to every note, every movement, every comedic timing. This singer had prepared for months, but nothing could quite replicate the experience of performing in front of future monarchs. The opening number was a classic British musical theatre piece. Chosen to set a tone of celebration and artistic excellence, Kate watched intently, her expression showing genuine appreciation for the performance. She had always loved the arts and understood the courage it took to perform on such a significant stage. When the song reached its powerful conclusion, she was among the first to applaud enthusiastically. William joined her. Their obvious enjoyment seemed to relax not just the performer, but the entire atmosphere in the hall. Throughout the first act, the variety of performances lived up to the show's name. A comedian took the stage next, delivering observational humor that had the audience roaring with laughter. Kate was seen laughing openly at several jokes, her genuine amusement clear to everyone watching. William occasionally leaned over to share a quiet comment with her, and they shared smiles that showed their comfort and connection with each other. A dance troupe followed, their choreography precise and energetic. The dancers moved across the stage with athletic grace, their performance telling a story without words. Kate, who had always appreciated dance, watched with focused attention. She could be seen slightly moving in time with the music, completely absorbed in the artistry unfolding before her. The dancers later said they could feel the royal couple's supportive energy from the stage, which helped them deliver one of their best performances ever. During a brief interval, Kate and William had the opportunity to meet some of the charity's beneficiaries backstage. These were retired performers who had fallen on hard times and received assistance from the Royal Variety Charity. One elderly gentleman had been a stage actor for 40 years before illness ended his career. He spoke emotionally about how the charity's support had helped him maintain his dignity during difficult times. Kate listened with compassion evident in her expression. She asked thoughtful questions about his career, what roles he had loved most, and what advice he would give to young performers today. The gentleman's eyes brightened as he recalled his glory days on the stage. William engaged equally, discussing the importance of supporting those in the entertainment industry with the same care given to veterans or other professionals who had served the public. These backstage moments were not photographed or broadcast, yet they represented some of the most meaningful aspects of royal duty. Kate and William genuinely cared about the people they met and the causes they supported. Their questions were never superficial or rushed. They gave each person their full attention, making everyone feel valued and heard. When they returned to the royal box for the second act, the energy in the hall had somehow intensified. Word had spread through social media that Kate and William were clearly enjoying themselves, laughing and applauding enthusiastically. This news drew even more attention to the event. With people following along online and wishing they could be present, a renowned singer took the stage for a stirring ballad that showcased credible vocal range and emotional depth. The Royal Albert Hall's acoustics carried every note perfectly, and the performance was so moving that complete silence fell over the audience. Kate appeared deeply affected by the song, her expression thoughtful and touched. When the final note faded and applause erupted, she stood immediately for a standing ovation, with William quickly following suit. The gesture meant everything to the performer. In later interviews, the singer described feeling overwhelmed with emotion, seeing the future queen standing and applauding. It validated years of hard work and dedication to craft. This was the magic of the Royal Variety performance, where royal recognition could profoundly impact an entertainer's career and confidence. A comedy sketch followed, providing lighter fare after the emotional ballad. The performers played off each other brilliantly, their timing impeccable. Kate was captured on camera, laughing heartily at a particularly clever bit of wordplay. The image would later appear in newspapers and online, with commentators noting how relaxed and happy she appeared. These genuine moments of joy helped humanize royalty, showing that, despite their position, they were people who enjoyed entertainment like anyone else. William showed equal engagement throughout the evening. He was not simply fulfilling an obligation, but actively participating as an audience member. When performers looked up at the royal box, they saw a couple genuinely appreciating the artistry before them. This encouragement from royalty meant performers could take creative risks, knowing they had supportive viewers, Magic Act brought gasps and applause from the audience with illusions that seemed impossible. Kate appeared genuinely puzzled by one trick, leaning over to William with a quizzical expression. He shrugged with an amused smile, equally baffled. This small interaction, captured on a distant camera, delighted people watching because it showed their natural rapport and shared experience of wonder. As the evening progressed, it became clear this was not just another royal appearance. Kate and William's authentic engagement with the performances created an atmosphere of celebration and appreciation throughout the hall. Performers fed off their energy, delivering their absolute best. Audience members felt privileged to witness both world-class entertainment and royalty, clearly enjoying themselves. During another musical number, Kate was seen gently tapping her hand against her knee in time with the rhythm. These small, unconscious movements revealed her true connection to the music. She was not sitting rigidly in formal observation, but allowing herself to be moved by the artistry. This authenticity was part of what had made her so beloved since joining the royal family. The second half of the show brought even more spectacular performances. A youth choir took the stage, their young voices blending in harmonies that filled the entire Royal Albert Hall with pure, crystalline sound. Kate's face showed visible emotion as she watched these talented children perform. She had always been passionate about supporting young people in their development, and seeing them shine on such a prestigious stage clearly moved her deeply. William appeared, equally impressed by the choir's discipline and talent. When their performance concluded, Both he and Kate stood again in appreciation. The children on stage beamed with pride, some wiping away tears of joy at receiving recognition from royalty. Their choir director later shared that this moment would be something the children remembered for the rest of their lives. A validation of their hard work and dedication. An unexpected highlight came when a spoken word artist took the stage. This was a relatively new addition to the Royal Variety performance. Reflecting the show's evolution to include contemporary art forms, the artist's powerful words addressed social issues with eloquence and passion, delivered with compelling rhythm and emotion. Kate listened intently, her expression showing deep consideration of the themes being presented. The performance challenged audiences to think while still entertaining them, exactly what great art should do. When it concluded, Kate's applause was immediate and sustained. She had shown throughout her royal career an appreciation for artists who use their platform to address important issues. Her visible support for this performance sent a message that modern forms of artistic expression had a place. Alongside traditional entertainment, a legendary comedian who had been performing for decades took the stage next. This entertainer was a national treasure, someone who had entertained multiple generations of British families. His routine mixed nostalgia with contemporary observations, delivered with the timing that only comes from a lifetime of experience. The audience responded to every setup and punchline with appreciation that went beyond mere laughter. Kate and William clearly enjoyed this segment enormously. They were seen exchanging amused glances during particularly clever jokes. William's laughter was especially noticeable during a bit about the challenges of modern parenting, something he and Kate could certainly relate to with their 3 children. These moments of shared humor highlighted their partnership and the normalcy they maintained despite their extraordinary position. Backstage between acts, the atmosphere was electric with nervous energy and excitement. Performers who had already completed their segments congratulated those preparing to go on. Everyone talked about the royal couple's reactions, how engaged they seemed, how their enthusiasm seemed to elevate every performance. Stage managers coordinated the complex logistics of moving sets and performers. While maintaining the show's seamless flow, a West End star delivered a show-stopping number from a current hit musical. Her voice was powerful yet controlled, hitting notes that seemed impossible while making it look effortless. The staging was elaborate, with dancers and lighting creating a spectacle that showcased the best of British musical theatre. Kate watched with obvious admiration, having long been a supporter of theatre arts. When this performance concluded, the applause was thunderous and sustained. Kate and William stood once more, their standing ovation joined by the entire audience. The performer on stage looked up at the royal box with tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by the moment. She curtsied deeply toward William and Kate, who responded with warm smiles and continued applause. These interactions between performers and royalty represented something deeper than entertainment. They symbolized the connection between British cultural institutions and the monarchy, a relationship that had evolved over centuries but remained meaningful. The Royal Variety performance is one of the few events where this connection was celebrated so publicly and joyfully. An instrumental performance followed, featuring a classical quartet that had been playing together for 20 years. Their interpretation of a beloved British composition was technically brilliant and emotionally resonant. Kate, who had studied music history during her education, appeared particularly absorbed in this performance. She sat very still, her full attention on the musicians and their craft. William also showed deep appreciation for this segment. Classical music had been part of his upbringing. He understood the skill and dedication required to reach this level of musicianship. When the piece concluded, his applause was enthusiastic and sustained. The quartet bowed toward the royal box with evident pride and gratitude as the evening progressed toward its conclusion. There was a palpable sense that something special was happening. This was not just another performance or another royal appearance. The combination of exceptional talent and genuine royal engagement had created an atmosphere of celebration that transcended the typical formality of such events. A surprise guest performer was announced, prompting excited whispers throughout the hall. This international superstar had not been publicly listed on the program, and their appearance represented a coup for the organizers. When they took the stage, the audience erupted with excitement. Kate and William smiled at each other, clearly pleased by the surprise. The performance lived up to the hype, with the star delivering a medley of their greatest hits with full production value. Dancers filled the stage, lights created spectacular effects, and the energy in the hall reached new heights. Kate was seen moving to the music, clearly enjoying the more contemporary performance as much as the classical and traditional acts that had preceded it. This diversity of entertainment was what made the Royal Variety performance unique. From classical music to pop, from comedy to spoken word, the show celebrated the full spectrum of British talent. Kate and William's equal appreciation for all these different forms demonstrated their understanding that excellence came in many varieties during what would be the final act before intermission. A theatrical group performed an excerpt from a play dealing with serious social themes. The acting was powerful and moving, tackling difficult subject matter with sensitivity and skill. The hall fell completely silent during the performance, every person absorbed in the story unfolding on stage. Kate's expression showed how deeply the performance affected her. As someone who had used her platform to advocate for mental health awareness and other social causes, she understood the power of art to illuminate important issues. When the scene concluded, her applause was accompanied by what appeared to be a comment to William about the performance's impact. The final intermission provided another opportunity for Kate and William to meet with performers and charity representatives. They moved through the backstage area with practiced ease, stopping to speak with various groups and individuals. A young magician who had performed earlier was visibly starstruck when William complimented his performance, asking about specific tricks and showing genuine curiosity about the craft. Kate spoke with the youth choir members who had performed earlier. Kneeling down to be at eye level with the younger children, she asked about their favorite songs and how long they had been singing. The children, initially shy, quickly warmed to her gentle questions and obvious interest. One little girl told Kate she wanted to be a singer when she grew up, and Kate encouraged her dreams while emphasizing the importance of education alongside artistic pursuits. These personal interactions were not captured by official photographers but were witnessed by those present and later shared through word of mouth and social media. They painted a picture of royals who genuinely cared about the people they met, who took time to make meaningful connections rather than simply fulfilling obligations. This authenticity was a key reason Kate and William had earned such strong public support. A representative from the Royal Variety Charity took the opportunity to update William on recent fundraising achievements and future goals. William listened attentively, asking detailed questions about how funds were distributed and what criteria determined who received assistance. His questions were not superficial, but reflected real understanding of charitable work and genuine interest in ensuring the charity operated effectively. Kate joined a conversation with several established performers who served as patrons for the charity. They discussed the importance of supporting entertainers who face difficulties, noting that public perception often assumed everyone in show business was wealthy and secure. The reality was much different, with many talented performers struggling financially, especially after illness or injury ended their careers. One elderly actress shared her story of receiving help from the charity after a stroke left her unable to work. She spoke with emotion about the difference that support had made. It's not just financially, but emotionally, knowing that her years of entertaining the public were valued and remembered. Kate listened with compassion, her response showing she understood the dignity and importance of supporting people through difficult times. As they returned to the royal box for the show's conclusion, the energy in the hall had reached a crescendo. The audience knew they were experiencing something special, an evening where everything had come together perfectly. The performers had delivered exceptional work. The royal couple had been engaged and supportive, and the cause itself was worthy and meaningful. The final act featured a collaboration between multiple performers from earlier in the evening. They had rehearsed a special closing number that showcased the diversity of British talent while celebrating the unity of purpose that brought everyone together. The stage filled with singers, dancers, musicians, and comedians, all contributing to a spectacular finale. Kate and William watched this grand finale with obvious delight. The production values were extraordinary, with lighting, sound, choreography coming together in a display of theatrical excellence. When the performance built to its climactic moment, with all performers singing together in powerful harmony, the entire audience rose to their feet in spontaneous standing ovation. The royal couple stood as well, applauding enthusiastically. Kate's smile was radiant, her genuine pleasure in the performance evident to everyone present. William applauded steadily, his posture relaxed, and his expression showing satisfaction with the evening's events. They remained standing as the performers took their bows. Wave after wave of applause washing over the stage. The master of ceremonies returned to thank everyone for attending and to acknowledge the evening's royal guests. He spoke about the charity's mission and the impact of the funds raised through events like this one. When he specifically thanked William and Kate for their presence and support, the applause became even more enthusiastic. The royal couple acknowledged the recognition with gracious waves and smiles. As was tradition, performers lined up on stage for a final presentation to the royal guests. Kate and William descended from the royal box to the stage level, preparing to meet the evening's artists personally. This was a highlight for many performers, a chance to be formally introduced to royalty and receive direct thanks for their contributions to the evening. The line of performers stretched across the entire stage width. Each person waited their turn with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Being presented to royalty was not something most people experienced regularly, and they wanted to make a good impression. Some rehearsed in their minds what they might say if given the chance, while others simply hoped they would not be too overwhelmed to speak at all. Kate and William began moving down the line, greeting each performer individually. They did not rush through these introductions, but took time with each person. Kate often commented on specific moments from performances, showing she had been paying careful attention throughout the evening. Her specific compliments meant everything to the artists, who appreciated that she had truly watched and valued their work. William engaged equally, asking performers about their backgrounds and training. He inquired about upcoming projects and expressed interest in their artistic journeys. His questions were thoughtful and specific, demonstrating genuine curiosity rather than polite obligation. Several performers later remarked that they had expected brief, formal exchanges but instead had meaningful conversations. When Kate reached the youth choir director, she spent extra time discussing the children's training and the importance of arts education. She shared her belief that exposure to music and performance could benefit young people in countless ways beyond entertainment. The director was impressed by Kate's knowledge and passionate advocacy for youth development through the arts. William spoke at length with the classical musicians, discussing the challenges of maintaining traditional art forms in a rapidly changing entertainment landscape. He acknowledged the importance of preserving classical traditions while also embracing innovation and new artistic expressions. The musicians appreciated his nuanced understanding of their field and the respect he showed for their craft. As they continued down the line, Kate and William maintained their energy and engagement. Lesser royals might have shown fatigue or impatience, but they understood that these moments mattered enormously to the people they met. Each handshake, each smile, each word of encouragement could profoundly impact someone's confidence and career. The comedian who had performed earlier in the evening received special attention from William, who mentioned specific jokes that had made him laugh. The comedian later told reporters that having the future king quote his material back to him was surreal and incredibly validating. William's genuine laughter during the performance had been visible throughout the hall, and now his personal feedback confirmed it had been authentic rather than polite. Kate paused. When she reached the spoken word artist, engaging in a brief but meaningful conversation about using art to address social issues, she commended the courage it took to perform such personally resonant material on a major stage. The artist, who had been nervous about how their contemporary style would be received by royalty, felt enormous relief and validation from Kate's words of support and understanding. The West End star, who had delivered the powerful musical number, appeared genuinely emotional when meeting Kate and William. She had dreamed of performing at the Royal Variety Performance since childhood, and having royalty complement her work specifically represented the fulfillment of a lifelong aspiration. Kate's warm handshake and sincere praise brought tears to the performer's eyes, a moment captured by photographers present for this portion of the evening as they reached the end of the performer line. Kate and William took time to thank the production team as well. Stage managers, lighting technicians, and sound engineers rarely received recognition despite their crucial contributions. The royal couple's acknowledgement of their work demonstrated understanding that great performances relied on many people working in coordination, not just those visible on stage. After completing the meet and greet, Kate and William returned to the royal box briefly for final formalities. The evening had extended longer than scheduled because they had taken extra time with performers, but neither showed any sign of impatience or fatigue. They understood that their presence and engagement made this event special, and they committed fully to that responsibility. The audience had remained in their seats, many hoping for one final glimpse of the royal couple before they departed. When Kate and William appeared in the royal box again, spontaneous applause erupted throughout the hall. They waved graciously to the crowd, their expressions showing appreciation for the audience's enthusiasm and support. This connection between royalty and public felt genuine and warm, not forced or merely ceremonial. As they prepared to leave, Kate took one last look around the historic Royal Albert Hall. The venue had hosted countless significant events over its long history, and tonight had added another memorable chapter. The combination of artistic excellence and royal patronage had created an evening that would be remembered and discussed for years to come. William placed his hand gently on Kate's back as they turned to exit, a small gesture of support and partnership that had become characteristic of their public appearances together. They moved as a united team, each complementing the other, their body language reflecting the strong relationship they had built over years of marriage and shared duty. Journey back through the venue's corridors was lined with staff members who had worked behind the scenes to make the evening successful. Kate and William stopped multiple times to thank these workers personally. Ushers, security personnel, and venue staff were not accustomed to receiving direct acknowledgement from royalty, and their surprised, pleased reactions showed how much these small gestures meant. Outside, the crowd had grown even larger. Word had spread through social media about the royal couple's presence. People had rushed to the area hoping to catch a glimpse of them departing. The cold November air had not deterred the enthusiastic well-wishers who pressed against the barriers, waving and calling out greetings. When Kate and William emerged from the Royal Albert Hall, the crowd's roar was deafening. Camera flashes created a strobe effect in the darkness. Kate waved to the crowd with her trademark grace, taking time to acknowledge different sections of gathered people rather than offering a single perfunctory wave. William did the same, his tall frame easily visible as he moved toward their waiting vehicle. Security personnel maintained professional vigilance while allowing the royal couple's space to interact naturally with the public. Several children had been brought by parents in hopes of seeing royalty, and Kate made special effort to wave directly at these young well-wishers. Her genuine fondness for children was well known, and these small acknowledgments created memories these families would treasure. The walk to their car took several minutes as Kate and William took their time rather than rushing through. They paused multiple times to wave at different sections of the crowd, ensuring as many people as possible felt acknowledged. This attention to their supporters was typical of their approach to royal duties, understanding that public engagement was central to maintaining the monarchy's relevance and connection to ordinary citizens. As they reached their vehicle, William opened the door for Kate, a gesture of courtesy he consistently performed despite protocol officers being present to handle such tasks. Kate smiled her thanks and settled into the car while William exchanged final words with security before joining her. The car door closed, muffling the crowd noise but not eliminating the excitement that continued outside. Inside the vehicle, Kate and William could finally relax slightly. After hours of being on public display, they discussed highlights from the evening, particular performances they had enjoyed, and touching moments from meeting the performers. Their conversation reflected genuine engagement with the experience rather than relief at completing an obligation. The car pulled away slowly, security vehicles forming a protective convoy. Kate turned to wave once more through the window at the crowd still gathered outside. Some people ran alongside the car briefly, phones held high to capture final images. The enthusiasm and affection from the public was palpable, a reminder of the positive relationship Kate and William had cultivated with British citizens as they drove through London's streets, passing iconic landmarks illuminated against the night sky. Both reflected on the evening's success. The Royal Variety performance had been exceptional this year, and their presence had clearly enhanced its significance. The charity would benefit from increased donations prompted by media coverage of royal attendance, and performers had received validation that would boost their careers. The following morning, newspapers across Britain featured Kate and William's Royal Variety performance, appearance prominently on their front pages. Images of Kate's elegant gown dominated fashion sections, with detailed analysis of her styling choices. Fashion experts praised her ability to look both regal and contemporary, noting how her choices influenced trends while respecting royal traditions. Entertainment sections provided comprehensive reviews of the performances, with special emphasis on moments when Kate and William had shown visible enjoyment or emotion. Critics noted that royal engagement often elevated performances, giving artists confidence and audiences permission to fully embrace the entertainment. Several performers were interviewed about their experience meeting royalty, and their stories painted a picture of a couple who genuinely appreciated artistic excellence. Social media exploded with discussion about the evening. Video clips of Kate laughing at comedy bits went viral, with people commenting on how relatable and genuine she appeared. Images of William applauding enthusiastically were shared widely, with observers noting his obvious enjoyment. The hashtags related to the event trended globally, demonstrating international interest in British royalty and cultural events. The Royal Variety charity reported an immediate surge in donations following the event. The publicity generated by royal attendance had drawn attention to the charity's mission, and many people were inspired to contribute after learning about the support provided to entertainers in need. This tangible benefit justified the significant resources invested in securing royal attendance and organizing such an elaborate event. Entertainment industry publications analyzed the event's impact on participating performers. Several artists reported immediate increases in booking inquiries and social media followers. Being associated with an event attended by royalty carried prestige that opened doors and created opportunities. For emerging artists in particular, this exposure could be career-defining, launching them to new levels of recognition. Kate's dress designer saw their website crash from traffic as people sought to identify and potentially purchase similar styles. This economic impact extended throughout the fashion industry. With accessories and beauty products Kate had worn selling out within hours, her influence as a fashion icon had been well established over years. But each public appearance reinforced and renewed that impact. Behind the scenes, Palace Communications staff dealt with hundreds of media requests for additional information and quotes about the evening. They carefully crafted statements emphasizing Kate and William's support for the arts and their commitment to the Royal Variety Charity's mission. Every public statement was scrutinized for both content and tone, ensuring it appropriately represented royal positions while maintaining accessibility. The Royal Albert Hall released a statement thanking the Prince and Princess of Wales for their attendance and support. Venue management noted that hosting royalty required extensive preparation and security measures, but the prestige and attention generated made these efforts worthwhile. The hall had hosted royal events for generations, and each one added to its rich history as a cornerstone of British cultural life. Performers who had met Kate and William shared their experiences on talk shows and podcasts over the following days. They described the couple as warm, knowledgeable, and genuinely interested in their work. Several mentioned being surprised by how long Kate and William had spent speaking with each person, expecting brief, formal exchanges, but instead having meaningful conversations. The youth choir director gave interviews about the children's experience, noting how meeting royalty had inspired them to continue pursuing their musical education. Kate's specific encouragement to several young performers had made profound impressions. The director emphasized how royal patronage of the arts sent powerful messages about valuing culture and creativity in society, educational. Institutions reported increased interest in performing arts programs following the event. Young people had been inspired by seeing talented performers their age recognized and supported by royalty. This ripple effect demonstrated how royal engagement with the arts influenced broader cultural participation and appreciation, particularly among younger generations. Analysis pieces appeared in prestigious publications examining the role of royalty in modern Britain. Commentators noted that events like the Royal Variety Performance represented the monarchy at its best, supporting worthy causes while celebrating British talent and culture. Kate and William's authentic engagement was contrasted with more perfunctory royal appearances, with their approach praised as a model for relevant modern monarchy. Royal watchers discussed how the evening fit into Kate and William's broader approach to their roles. They had consistently prioritized meaningful engagement over mere attendance, quality over quantity in their public duties. This strategy had earned them strong public approval ratings and positioned them well for future responsibilities as they moved closer to eventually ascending the throne. The charities' long-term supporters expressed gratitude for the renewed attention and support generated by royal attendance. Many noted that the Royal Variety Performance was just one event in their annual calendar, but it generated disproportionate publicity and donations because of royal participation. This economic reality underscored the practical value of monarchy. Beyond ceremonial or symbolic significance, international media covered the event as well, particularly in Commonwealth countries and nations with interest in British royalty. Images of Kate in her elegant gown appeared in fashion magazines worldwide. William's engaged presence reinforced perceptions of him as a future king who understood the importance of connecting with citizens through shared cultural experiences. Several weeks after the event, the Royal Variety Charity released final fundraising totals, announcing that this year's performance had been among the most successful ever. Direct donations had exceeded projections, and indirect benefits through increased awareness would provide value for years to come. The organization publicly thanked Kate and William for their crucial role in this success. Performers reported lasting career benefits from their participation. The classical musicians saw increased concert bookings and recording opportunities. The comedian received offers for television specials and touring opportunities. The West End star was approached about international productions. These concrete outcomes demonstrated the tangible value of performing at prestigious events with royal attendance. Kate and William's calendar continued, filling with other engagements and responsibilities. But they occasionally referenced the Royal Variety Performance in subsequent speeches and conversations. William mentioned the talented performers when discussing arts funding in Parliament. Kate referenced the youth choir when speaking about the importance of music education. The evening had clearly made impressions on them. Beyond mere duty fulfillment, the Royal Albert Hall added the event to its promotional materials and historical displays. Photographs of Kate and William attending joined images of previous royal attendees spanning decades. This visual history demonstrated the continuity of royal support for the arts and the venue's ongoing significance in British cultural life. For the general public, the evening provided a reminder of why many valued the monarchy. Beyond debates about constitutional arrangements or cost-benefit analyses, events like the Royal Variety Performance showcased royalty engaged in supporting culture, encouraging talent, and bringing people together through shared appreciation of excellence. Kate and William had embodied this role perfectly, creating an evening that would be remembered fondly by all who participated or witnessed it.